Greetings. Happy to be here. The teacher Shunryu Suzuki Roshi, the founder of San Francisco Zen Center, once was asked to explain Buddhism, and he answered in 3 words. He said, "Not always so. Not always so." And there are many things that are sometimes one way, but not always so. And one of those things is our emotions. We can have all kinds of ideas about our emotions, predictions about them. We can be influenced by them, to think certain ways by them. But maybe it's not always so. Maybe we don't really understand our emotions fully, or we don't understand fully what they are as a process, what they are as something which is unfolding through time because of the ideas we have. This is what it is, or this is what it means. In meditation, one of the interesting and can be very valuable forms of mindfulness is to bring together mindfulness of emotions with mindfulness of breathing. And mindfulness of breathing is kind of like a constant. To stay with mindfulness of breathing is to learn the art of not investing our attention in our thinking, where all the ideas are and opinions are and predictions are, and all the stories that fuel our emotions. And so we stay with the breathing, not to stop us from thinking, but stop us from being stuck in our thoughts, and let the thinking recede in the background or not really be where we're focusing on. It keeps us fluid, it keeps us relaxed, it keeps us from being stuck. Same thing with emotions. Staying with the constancy of breathing also keeps us to getting tripped up or stuck on or fixated on our emotions. It also can help us from being overwhelmed by the emotions, because there's this constant stability, constant ballast, constant. It's like walking in a long hike. We just one step after another, one step after the other, and it doesn't really matter what we think or what we feel about the hike. We just know we have to get to the end, one step, one step. So just stay with the breathing, and that's not meant to be a way of ignoring our emotions, but a way of helping our emotions not get stuck or us get stuck with them. It keeps things going and fluid. It's almost like the cycles of breathing in, breathing out, keeps us everything flowing and moving as it can often do. So one of the interesting things to do when we have some ability to be with mindfulness of breathing, like we did 2 weeks ago, and mindfulness of thinking as we did last week, is to combine mindfulness of breathing with mindfulness of emotions. And one of the ways of doing that is to breathe as we're staying with the rhythm of breathing, to breathe with our emotions, our mood, our mental states, our attitudes, whatever is predominant. Just breathe with it, like you're accompanying it. But by breathing with it, the attention is mostly with the breathing, as a little bit of protection from getting involved in the stories, ideas, attachments, resistances we have to the emotions. Just allowing the emotions to be there and breathe with it. So attention can go in both places. The other way, somewhat related to that, is to imagine that as you breathe, you're breathing through the emotion. And that helps if you can identify where the emotion is most expressed in the body. And that place where it's most expressed or most representative of the emotion in the body, just breathe through that and let the in-breath and out-breath kind of flow in and out through that place. And that similarly can keep you from getting caught in the emotion or reactive to it or coming to conclusions about it or more stories about it. It's a way of kind of settling and relaxing, just being with it and allowing the emotion to be as it wants and let it move itself. The movement, the motion of emotion. Letting the motion of emotion move itself. So that was a lot of words about it, so I'll try to guide you with it now. So taking a meditative posture, and if it's easy enough to do, a meditative posture that helps you breathe more easily, whatever that might be. And for some people it's sitting up a little straighter so the chest opens up a little bit. So certainly so that we're not somehow collapsed into the chest and restricting the breath. If you're sitting in a chair, to maybe lift yourself off the chair a little bit with your hands and arms, just a little bit, so that, and then to settle back and sit up straight, so the chest is a little more open. Gently closing your eyes. And relaxing the body. As you exhale, softening the muscles of the face. Releasing, holding in the face. Tightness. As you exhale, softening the shoulders. And as you soften the shoulders, let the attitude of softening be one of care and kindness, gentleness, relaxing the shoulders, almost as if the shoulders feel your goodwill. And softening and relaxing the chest. And relaxing the belly. And then finding some place in your body where it's comfortable for you to hang out with your breathing, with the experience the body has of breathing. And take a few moments to soften and relax in the area of your body where you experience breathing. And then the areas around that place that maybe also experience some of the movement and changes of breathing. Can you also soften and relax there? And And taking some moments to just be simple with your breathing, almost like you're being with breathing, or you're being breathing. You're becoming your breathing. Relaxing and softening the thinking mind, the thinking. Letting go of thoughts as you exhale. A simplicity of being, sitting here breathing. And then as you continue breathing, also become aware of how you're feeling, your emotions, mental state, mood. It could be quite subtle, simple calmness, quietude. It could be some strong emotion. And allow your emotion to be there. Give yourself complete permission to feel whatever emotional state is present. As if this meditation is the safest and most appropriate time to feel any emotion that's there without being involved in stories about it. Just the felt sense, just the physical experience of the emotion. And then breathe with the emotion. So breathing is accompanying it. Or breathe through it, where you're staying grounded in the breathing, in the rhythm and the cycle of breathing in and breathing out. Like walking and taking one step after the other without pause. One inhale, one exhale, with and through, however you're feeling. Leaving your feelings, your emotions alone, except for breathing with them, breathing through them. So that you're centered on your breathing, but inclusive of how you feel. don't have to identify what you're feeling. All you do now is breathe through, however it is. Breathe with, letting yourself feel whatever you're feeling, but stay with a continuity of breathing. perhaps with the help of the breathing, you can have a relaxed attitude of however you're feeling, allowing it to unfold or to be as it is, your emotions, your mood, whatever way you're feeling, but include it in your awareness. Hold it or allow it to be in the field of awareness. But at the heart of it all, center yourself on breathing. Maybe almost as if breathing happens at the middle, center of how you feel. And then as you come to the end of this sitting, to see how breathing can also move through your heart. Massaging the heart area, helping the heart area relax and open. And maybe breathe with whatever capacity, whatever degree of compassion or kindness or love that's available for you, that you might feel within your body. And breathe with those feelings, however small or they might be. Breathe with them and imagine that as you breathe out, you're spreading your care, your love, your compassion out across the lands. And that as you breathe in, you're breathing in the troubles of the world, sufferings of people everywhere. And that as long as you stay with the rhythm, breathing in and then breathing it out, love, transforming it, offering welfare and happiness to all beings on your exhale. Keeping the heart open so that the people of the world can feel your care and your presence, at least from the vantage point of your meditation. You're willing to be a witness to the world and to see the world through the eyes of your care, your love. And may it be that your love, your kindness, your care, your desire for the welfare of others spreads from you through the words you speak, the words you write, through the deeds and actions that you do, and through the thoughts that you have. May it be that all beings feel safe, that all beings be happy, that all beings be peaceful, that all beings be free. So certainly here in California and elsewhere, our sympathies go out, our love goes out to the people who are displaced and from the fires and lost their homes and struggling with the smoke and challenges of the heat. This is such a big part of our world that learning how to be with our emotions, is such an important skill, because as we get wiser with our emotions, it allows us to offer, be present, and offer more of our care for the world rather than our distress. So, this is the second talk on mindfulness of emotions. And one of the things I tried to say yesterday is that the English word emotion, it doesn't really have a clear definition. And no one really knows exactly what it is, or it's a vague kind of category term. And many people assume they know exactly what emotions are, and they take it for granted that this is a huge part of human life. But there's a number of things that we take for granted, we assume are just built into the nature of the universe, that are really partly a product of our conventions, our culture, our ideas, our concepts that we use to organize our life. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes we are limited by the concepts, the ideas, the stories we have. And it turns out that maybe it's useful to think of emotions, that emotions are not what you think they are. And just that little phrase, emotions are not what you think they are, might help you to kind of open up to be more with a direct experience, rather than being a little bit removed with the thoughts, ideas, opinions, stories about the emotions that we have. Now, one of the ways the Buddha has for breaking up, he didn't do it this way, but the alternative in the Buddha's teachings for how to be with something that we call emotions is to look at our experience through these 4 different perspectives. To look at it through the perspective of our body. How is it being experienced physically? Through what he calls feeling, which this means the subjective experience that leads to senses of pleasant and unpleasantness, liking, not liking. To look at it from the point of view of the mental state that's present, and then some of the activities of the mind and reactions in response to the emotions that are there, or whatever's there. So today the topic is to look at, use the body, and to really feel the experience in the body. So when the Buddha started teaching about mindfulness of the body, he first taught mindfulness of breathing. And I kind of see breathing, if our life is a mandala or concentric circles, that breathing, for a meditator, breathing is at the center. And then as we expand outwards from that and hold more of our experience, we hold the next concentric circle, which is our embodied physical experience. And the next concentric circle is the mind states, and then it's the activities of the mind that lead to suffering or lead to freedom. And so with that kind of image, the idea is that we stay at the center with the breathing and just breathe with their things. And as I said in that meditation, that if we can breathe with the emotions, that can be a great support to not get pulled too far into the world of thinking about emotions. And that's why the statement, emotions are not what we think, is meant to kind of a little bit dislodge this kind of strong pull that we sometimes have into the world of thinking, stories, that we have a relationship to all this, and meaning. And but rather to learn to use breathing as a way to be a little bit free of our thinking, not focused on our thinking, but rather focused on breathing. It keeps us fluid and relaxed. And then to begin feeling a wider field of experience, the wider bodily experience that happens in the middle of that breathing. The Buddha called it the experience of the whole body. And as we start feeling the whole body, there's a reference point for our emotions, which is phenomenally useful. And that is to feel the physicality in the present moment of the emotions we're having. Our involvement with emotions, especially if it involves stories and ideas and events of our life, might be not really focused on the present moment, but who said what I said, what happened, what the person did, what I want. And it's a whole world of stories that keeps the emotion stirred up. In fact, the French word from which English word emotion comes from, I think it's pronounced émouvoir, apparently means to stir up and to set it in motion. And so we keep stirring it up with our thoughts and ideas. The physical manifestation of an emotion, the ways in which our stomach gets maybe tight or butterflies in the stomach if we're afraid, the ways our shoulders get up if we're angry, or the ways that the eyes go wider if we're afraid, or there's all over the body there are muscles which have direct lines to what we would call our emotional lives. And those muscles are being tugged and pulled and energized and activated in different ways. And there are some people who've said that we probably wouldn't be able to recognize the emotion we're having unless we had the physical evidence for something happening in our body related to it. Some sensations that are an expression or a manifestation of that emotion. And so what we do in meditation and mindfulness is we bring our attention to the physical component of the emotion. It's a way of respecting emotion and feeling it, and then we allow it to be there. So what we're doing, we're stepping away from the thoughts about the emotion, the stories, and we're offering a profound kind of respect to the emotion, allowing it to be there, but we're allowing it to be there as a present moment phenomena, as it's manifesting in the present moment. And we can start to feel it in your body. And the Buddha talked about feeling the experiences of the body through the sensations of the body, all the different sensations that come into play. So in relationship to emotions, all the emotions that come into play. So there's a few advantages to bringing attention to the physicality, the physical experience of emotions. One is that the emotions are not a story, so it's a way of connecting to the emotions without continuing to fuel it and stir it up. The body is very honest. And sometimes you can feel more clearly and more honestly what's happening than we can if we're looking at it through our filter of our thoughts, ideas, meanings, associations, biases, and all kinds of things. And so but one of the most important parts of experiencing it in our body is that the body has a lot of intelligence, in a sense. The body is not a thing. It's not like a hunk of meat. The body that the Buddha talks about is a dynamic and active field of sensations and nerves and activities and movements that are going on. And it's a process. Just like emotions are processes that move and unfold unless they get stuck or they get into a loop going around and around. So is the body is a process. And as we make room for how the emotions feel in the body, feeling it in the body, it's kind of like the body is giving room for the process of the emotion to unfold. It's like the psychophysical body, the somatic body, if really left alone, if really left alone in awareness, it often knows what to do, what needs to relax, what needs to unfold, what direction the emotion goes. That doesn't mean that necessarily difficult emotions get better right away. Sometimes difficult emotions need to get stronger. That's the movement they have until some kind of resolution comes. Grief might need to be stronger for a while. It needs its time. Fear might need to be stronger for a while. It needs its time. Anger might need its time. But we get out of the way in the sense of our thoughts, our ideas, our projections to it, and we just feel it in the body. That's not always easy. if there's really intense emotions or very, very difficult, kind of painful emotions that have a long history or difficult associations with events in our lives, then doing this might not be the right thing to do. And there's other ways of working with the mindfulness of the body in relationship to things which are, too difficult to touch directly. But if it's not too difficult, to uh, um, bring your attention to how emotions are feeling in the body. And for difficult emotions, I think of them for myself is I'm composting them in the body. I just keep coming back and feel them in my body, feel them. And it might just be for a few moments because I'm stirred up by something. But then when I remember, I come back and compost it in the body, feel it in the body, and allow the body to handle it. It's kind of trust the body to handle it. If it's some of the more beautiful emotions we have, it isn't so much they get composted, but by feeling them physically in the body, it's like you give more room for them to grow and to unfold. They also want to move. And so they also can kind of become more expansive, joy and happiness, when we start feeling them in the body. The deeper kinds of joy and happiness actually get limited by thinking about things. And the deeper joys and happiness become more expansive and grow in a certain way as we keep relaxing into the body and feeling them and feeling them. And and to end this, I want to say that one of the great ways that the body can support emotions, both the difficult ones and ones that are quite wonderful to experience, is that the idea is that we're trying to help our emotional life to feel safe with us, and letting the body be that place of safety. Let the body hold it, open to the body, and allow the fear to feel safe within you. Allow the anger to feel safe. Allow the joy to feel safe. Allow the love to feel safe within you, and hold it and be with it. So that can mean breathing with it through the body, feeling in the body and breathing with it, or accompanying it with breath, or simply really in a loving, caring, soft attention, just feeling where this emotions is present in the body and make room for it. Give it permission to be there and see what happens in that quiet mind that's not preoccupied by thoughts. Whenever you start thinking about things and about the emotions, take all those thoughts and compost it back into your body. So this idea of coming back to your body, is one of the great skills in meditation practice. And it's a skill that takes a while to learn, and learn how to be safe, feel safe about, and learn how to be wise about. But this is one of the component parts of what the Buddha had to teach, one of the four big areas of where we bring attention, is attention to where things are in the body. And the more we're in our body, the more it's a foundation for the next three so-called foundations, the next three other ways in which we can bring attention to the emotions, which I'll continue with tomorrow. So, thank you so much for being part of this, and I hope that in this process you become friends with your emotions, that then your emotions feel that you're a support and a friend of them. Thank you.